Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Season 2, episode I have no idea. And this one is the pot calling the kettle black. So we start off where we left off from the last episode with Martell and Melody fighting outside of the construction work site that Martell was at. Melody had pulled up. She confronted him about him being at the restaurant where she was having her dinner date with, and him recording her while she was out on her date, so on and so forth. So they're continuing arguing about that. They're going back and forth. Martell does admit that he was recording her. I don't know why. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It's very stalkerish, very showing signs of being very obsessed with her, but he did admit that he was recording her while she was on her date. And then one of his issues was, why did she post a picture on her social media of her date, and the caption said me and Bae or something like that at our favorite restaurant. And Martell had an issue with her taking a new boo to their favorite restaurant. And I'm just like, what, Martell? What are you talking about? She can't go to a restaurant that she herself also enjoys because of the fact that you and her are not together anymore. And that was a restaurant that you and her used to frequent together. So now it's completely off limits. So he was really butthurt about the fact that she took her new friend to this restaurant that she used to go to with Martell. And I'm sorry, Martell, if you are so, in that part where all these things are reminding you of Melody, so you can't listen to this song because it reminds you of Melody. You can't go to this store because it reminds you of Melody. You can't eat at this restaurant because it reminds you of Melody. I'm so sorry that you can't. There's a lot of places and a lot of things that you have X'd off your list that you can no longer enjoy because it used to be something that you used to enjoy with Melody, but Melody don't give a damn. She likes the restaurant. She took her friend there. She enjoys the food there, the ambiance, the whatever, and she likes it. She's going to continue going there. She don't give a damn that she used to go there with you, that it was once y'all's favorite restaurant. Now y'all are not together anymore. It is still her favorite restaurant. She still enjoys it. So it's just too bad there's a lot of things in life that you can no longer enjoy because you associate that with your ex-wife. Now, and then they start calling each other's partners ugly because Martell started off by telling Melody that she needed to step it up. He had a picture, I guess he had pulled up her social media where she posted this picture of her friend, and he shoves his phone in her face, and he tells Melody, do better, do better. And Melody's like, well, what about, what you got going on, your situation? You need to do better too. And then he said something which I thought was very insulting. He said, they are all on your level. And I thought that was really insulting. I don't know why, but I just found that really offensive that he said that his mistresses can compare to her. This woman gave you 10, 12 years of her life. She gave you 4 children. She stuck by your side through thick and thin when you were making a complete fool out of her on national television. This woman took you back and decided to give you another chance. Your mistresses can do that for you, Martell. They can do that for you. And don't even make this about a looks thing, because I've seen the mistress. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Don't even make it about a looks thing, Martell. If you're talking about the woman that she is and the type of women that you are now with, they don't compare. They don't compare. They are not nowhere near Melody's level. This woman gave you 10 to 12 years of her life, okay? And when you were embarrassing the heck out of her, embarrassing your children, she still stuck by your side. She was still trying to make it work for you, but you couldn't let go of your addiction. So, sexual addiction or whatever his situation was, where it was more important for him to fool around on the outside than it was to try to make his family stay intact and make his marriage work. So they were calling each other's partners ugly. They cuss at each other. They insult each other. They argue really, really, really gutter. And all I can think about is your children are going to see this. Why does it have to go that, if y'all know that y'all are so toxic for each other when y'all were married, and now that y'all are divorced, that toxicity is still there between the two of you, leave each other alone. Melody, you should not have come there to confront him about him following you around. Yes, you were right. He should not be following you around when you're out on your dates. You're 100% correct on that. But you knew, Melody, how it was going to turn out. You knew that y'all cannot have a civil conversation with one another. So you're going there to confront him. You're not going there to talk to him, to discuss something with him. You're going there to purposely confront him about something that he did that you didn't like. And Martell, he also needs to learn to control himself because he knows when Melody is within my vicinity, I am going to be triggered and I'm going to lose my mind. So he needs to be aware of those cues that are there whenever they're in the same room together. He needs to be aware of those cues. He needs to be aware of those triggers, and he needs to control himself. They both need to control themselves. This whole thing was just really embarrassing for both of them, and it's really embarrassing for their children, especially after we just got off a scene where their daughter was crying, because she's still trying to cope with the fact that her parents are divorced, and now here y'all are acting like complete idiots, for the whole world to see. Y'all do have children together still, and whenever they call each other names and whenever they insult each other, I wish that they would remember that you are not insulting your ex-wife. You're not insulting someone who you broke up with. You are insulting the parent of your children. Okay, do you want Mariah's mom to be do you want, Junior's dad to be a mother? Does that make you proud? Oh, my children's my children's mother does that make you proud that you're labeling your children's parent these horrible, disgusting names? Let's move on. So next we have Kimmy and Patricia. So Patricia is an old friend of Kimmy, and I'm assuming was also a friend of Kaya, but more so a friend of Kimmy. I really didn't understand the background of these two women, but it seems like Patricia is an old friend of Kimmy. She comes over to visit her, and she comes over there to talk about Kaya. So they start off to talking about their kids and blah blah blah. Kimmy tells us that Monster goes to his mother's home for summer vacation and for Christmas. He's at his mother's. And then the rest of the year, he's with Maurice and her. Now, my question is, did Maurice actually buy a home for Kaya? Because last season, Maurice wanted his son so bad that he was willing to buy Kaya a home in Huntsville. So I want to know, I must have missed that whole part, if whether or not he actually bought this house for Kaya and was paying her mortgage or whatever the hell was going on there. Did he buy a house for Kaya, and is Kaya still in that house? I'm very confused about that. I'm very confused about where Kaya is now. Anyways, so they get caught up on that, and she tells her friend Patricia that the monster, everything is going great, but there's some communication issues, I guess, going on there. And Maurice is now, I think Patricia asked about whether or not Kimmy has been on a honeymoon yet with Maurice, and then Kimmy says something about because of Monster's games, he really doesn't want to miss any practice. He doesn't want to miss any games. Something to that effect. Okay, I really wasn't paying attention. Then they move on to talk about Kaya. So Kimmy still is defending herself in the role that she played in Maurice's life when he was going through his divorce with Kaya, or when he was with Kaya. Kimmy's insisting that she did not know Maurice or Kaya when they were married. They started their relationship after Maurice and Kaya were divorced, officially divorced. I don't understand why this is still an issue, why this is a topic of discussion. It is what it is. The facts are the facts. I don't understand why either she knew this man while he was with Kaya, or she did know this man while he was with Kaya. I thought she knew him when he was with Kaya, when he was married to Kaya, but they were just friends because they were working together or something like that. Either they just worked together or they were just friends, and then the relationship didn't start until after he divorced Kaya. That's what I thought. But then in this episode, she said that she didn't even know them when they were married. So I was kind of confused about that. I don't understand why every single season she has to defend herself on when she met Maurice and when she began dating Maurice. So in the beginning, I was thinking to myself, okay, yeah, I believe Kimmy that she didn't know Maurice, or she didn't start a relationship with him until after he was divorced from Kaya. But the more she's defending herself, the more she feels this need to explain herself. I'm beginning to wonder if their relationship did overlap his marriage to Kaya. I'm beginning to wonder about that. But anyway, so she talks about that again. She says that she did not know Maurice when he was married to Kaya, and that everything started after they were divorced. She said that after Kaya and Maurice had signed the papers, Kaya was still trying to get back with Maurice, and that Kaya was blaming Kimmy for her not being able to reconcile with Maurice. That Kimmy was hindering the reconciliation. So that totally confused me. So are you saying, Kimmy, that after they signed the papers for the divorce, Kaya still wanted to get back with Maurice and probably felt like maybe she had a chance to get back with him, but because he was with you, she couldn't get back with him. And so is that what she means, that maybe in her mind, maybe, I don't know. I have no idea, because no one will ever tell the truth. We need a third party, an impartial third party who was there during this time, who can explain to us what really was going on. Because every season it's like there's another layer to this whole Kaya, Maurice, Kimmy history. So now I'm learning that Kaya wanted to get back with Maurice after they had filed for divorce and after they had signed the papers. Now, when Kimmy said after they had signed the papers, I'm assuming after the divorce was finalized, not just the petition for the divorce, but after the divorce was actually finalized. They signed it, the judge signed it, the divorce was final, they were officially divorced. That for whatever reason, Kaya still wanted to get back with Maurice, but couldn't because Maurice was moving on with Kimmy. That's what I got from that. And then when Kaya would slander Kimmy's name in social media, Kimmy expected Maurice to defend her, to defend Kimmy. But Maurice, in typical Scott fashion, told Kimmy, why would I defend you against a bunch of lies? There's no need to address lies. But it doesn't matter if there's a need to address lies or not. It doesn't matter if it's obvious it's a lie. If your wife is asking you, hey, this woman is saying these horrible, slanderous things about me that are not true, can you please step in and clear it up for the people and let them know what really was going on? And as if you love her and you know this is going to make her feel better, why don't you just do it? How is it going to hurt you? How is it going to hurt your reputation in any way for you to just come out there and say, you know what? I don't know what's going on out there, why people are saying me and Kimmy were having an affair while I was married to Kaya, but that is far from the truth. I was not married to Kaya when I was with Kimmy. Kimmy had nothing to do with the ending of my marriage. I met Kimmy way after me and Kaya were divorced. What is wrong with saying that, unless it's not true? Unless there is some truth in what Kaya is saying, that you and Kimmy were fooling around when you were still married to Kaya. So why don't you just come out and defend her if that's what she was asking you to do? But like, just like his brother Marcel, if like, well, why do I need to defend? Why do I need to address rumors? Why do I need to address lies? Because it's going to make your wife feel better. That is why. It's not about what you think is right, what you think should or shouldn't happen. It's just simply, okay, my wife is asking me to do this because I love her and it's going to give her some peace of mind. And I'm not wrong in doing it. I'm not lying. It's the truth. Why not just do it? You don't have to do it all the time. You don't have to do it every single day, post something every single day. Just this one time, squash the rumors, squash the lie, but they don't want to do it. For whatever reason, they don't want to do it. So then Patricia tells, then Kimmy says that, Kaya just didn't like me and she needed to somehow justify her hatred for me. So that's when she started blaming me for the ending of her marriage. Because she just had to find a reason to a justification for not liking me. So she's going to label me as the other woman. I don't know. So then Patricia tells her, well, Tisha didn't have your back during this whole situation. Kaya saying all these things. Tisha didn't really have your back. I guess Tisha was there when all this was going on. I don't know, maybe she wasn't. Well, she was definitely there when Kimmy and Maurice began dating, because I think Tisha was already married to Maurice's brother Marcel when Maurice started seeing Kimmy. So Patricia was like, well, your own sister-in-law didn't even have your back. And then Kimmy said, well, she didn't have my back because I didn't have her back when she was feuding with Melody. I don't even know what to say. It's just so much to unbox. Okay, so whenever Tisha and Melody were feuding, Tisha felt as if Kimmy was betraying her by continuing a friendship with Melody. Kimmy was being the more mature one by saying, I can be friends with whoever I want to be friends with. Whatever you got going on with Melody is between you and Melody. So because Kimmy refused to cut off her friendship with Melody, Tisha now has this vendetta against Kimmy. So when Kaya was going strong on social media about Kimmy being a mistress and being the other woman and the cause of her marriage ending with Maurice, Tisha said nothing. Because if anything, Tisha would know more than anybody else, I guess, when exactly Maurice and Kimmy began seeing each other. But Patricia said that yeah, she didn't have Kimmy's back at all. So she refused to make any comment that would give any credibility to what Kimmy was saying as far as I wasn't seeing Maurice when he was still married to Kaya. The bottom line is, this is what Kimmy said, the bottom line is, if she didn't want me to be friends with Melody, she should have just come out and be a woman about it and just say it. Don't be friends with her. But then it would make her look extremely immature for a grown woman to tell another grown woman, hey, I don't like her. I don't want you to be friends with her. Yeah, you look like a whiny baby if you were to do that. Tisha has a lot of growing up to do. I guess Tisha was extremely spoiled by her mom, possibly, maybe because she was the only girl. She probably was very spoiled by her mother and just doesn't know how to. Let's move on. Tisha and Marcel. Okay, so Tisha comes home looking really cute, by the way. She had on this really cute short set. It was like a midriff shirt with matching shorts. Her body was looking really nice. So she comes home and surprise, surprise, there's, two people in her house and she has no idea who they are. And Marcel says, it's going to be some surprise counseling because of the fact that Tisha surprised him with a counseling session with Dr. Francis. Now he's going to return the favor and surprise her with a money counseling session. So it's this couple that deal with money counseling, financial counseling, so on and so forth. They help people get their finances together. After talking to both of them, they talk about, the money that Marcel spends, the money that Tisha spends, so on and so forth. They talk about how Tisha says, well, when I spend, I don't spend for myself only. I spend for myself and the children. But when he spends only for himself. So there's a huge discrepancy on how we spend money. And she also says that he doesn't consult her whenever he does decide to do these really huge purchases. For example, he had a work truck, where the transmission had broke. And instead of just fixing the transmission, he buys a whole nother truck. And then for his 40th birthday, he bought himself a luxury car. So she says, he doesn't even consult me whenever he makes big purchases. And I think it's because he's the breadwinner, so he doesn't feel the need to consult me. Because he's making the money, he feels like he can spend it any way he wants. So they go through all of that. They go through they go upstairs to their bedroom to see all of her makeup and all of her purses, this, and that. They go outside to look at his cars. And then the couple decides, what, your issue really isn't money problems. Your issue is a communication problem. So y'all just need to communicate better about how you manage the money together. And they said that, Tisha's spending doesn't compare to Martel's spending. Tisha's buying purses and makeup. You're buying luxury cars and stuff. So the spending doesn't even compare. You are spending more than she is. So that was like a little throwaway scene. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Martel, so you went through the extra effort to do this money counseling session because you thought that she was misusing the money or spending too much. Coming to find out, you're the one that's spending too much, so you look like the damn fool. And also, why couldn't you try to get a marriage counselor? You need marriage counseling, Marcel. You don't need financial counseling. You need marriage counseling. So that was kind of odd to me that he would go through the trouble of financial counseling but not marriage counseling, when clearly you're the one that spends more than your own wife. Moving on, Destiny's event. So Destiny has this event where she wants to bring all of these female business women together. Female business, that's redundant. She wants to bring all of these business women together so they can network and get together and help each other out. So there's these women there from different areas of business, daycare owners, store owners, whoever, whatever, a whole bunch of businesswomen got together to network. And so she's also, the event was going to do an unveiling of her cover for the magazine that she did the photo shoot for. Her very first magazine cover for Hype Hair. So when she's up there giving her speech, first of all, let's talk about what she was wearing. Lord have mercy. This was a business event. So I'm assuming at a business event, you would dress in business attire. And I think Destiny understands what business attire is. Well, lo and behold, Destiny shows up in a bodysuit, a see-through bodysuit with all kinds of bling and sparkle and sequins and little tassels hanging off of it. It looked like something that you would wear to like a Las Vegas or a New York club, not to a business event, an afternoon business event at that. Everybody else was dressed, in their business attire for a business luncheon in the middle of the day. And she shows up in her freakum outfit that you would wear if you were going out on, in Manhattan, going out not on the town with your girls in Manhattan or something. It was so bizarre how she was dressed. And then underneath it, it was completely see-through because she had to wear like a bodysuit underneath it because it was completely see-through. It just blew my mind. Even Tisha said something about her outfit. Destiny's a grown woman. She can wear whatever the hell she wants to wear. That's fine, whatever. But it just did not fit the event. So she gets up there and she makes a speech and she shouts out all of these people. And then she shouts out Kimmy. She shouts out Nurse Kimmy. She says something about, we have Nurse Kimmy here. And as she's going through her, acknowledging she wasn't shouting out people by name other than Kimmy, but she was saying, we have people here from this industry, from the baking industry, from the daycare industry, from the restaurant industry, all these different industries these women were representing. And, when she said she's got a CPA there, and the camera panned to this woman named Stormy. And she was naming all of these industries, and then she named Kimmy by name, and she said, we have Nurse Kimmy here. I didn't understand why she didn't mention Melody, because Melody is like the epitome of a Black businesswoman. She runs, I don't know how many different companies. Every season, she's starting up a new business. I'm assuming they're successful. Who the hell knows? But she's portrayed on this show as a businesswoman. But Destiny didn't feel the need to acknowledge her in any way, either indirectly or directly. So when she went to go sit down at the table with the other women, Melody said to Destiny, well, if I knew... No, she said to her, why didn't you contact me to sponsor your event? Because I would have done it happily. And Destiny said that she completely forgot. And in her confessional, she said that, she sees Melody every single day, that it didn't even cross her mind to send her a sponsorship package. And Melody was really offended by that. I don't know exactly why. I guess because if she wasn't going to be a big sponsor to the event, she wasn't going to get any kind of recognition at the event, maybe. I don't know, but she was really offended by that. So then moving on from that, then they start talking about, Tisha brings up her Destiny race. And she says, well, I got money from... No, she says, even though the two of you, and she pointed out Melody and Destiny, even though the two of you did respond to my text, I didn't get any checks from y'all. Okay. So Melody was like, okay, no worries. I'll take care of that. And then Kimmy says, well, you did get my check, right? And Tisha was like, okay, I was getting to that. Yes, I did get your check, but I never got a response from you. And so Kimmy was like, well, you got the money. Who cares about the response that I didn't respond to you by text? You still got the money. Would you rather not get the money and get a response, or not get a response and get the money? You choose. Which one is better for you? And so that was, to me, that was nothing. That whole interaction between Kimmy and Tisha had nothing to do with the check. It had everything to do with the underlying issues of their relationship. There is something really major going on between Tisha and Kimmy. And I'm really curious to find out exactly what it is. Because it can't just be the fact that that Tisha is still upset that Kimmy had Melody's back, or that Kimmy refused to end her relationship with Melody when Tisha and Melody were feuding. It can't be just that, because when the season began, they seemed to be kind of okay. They were definitely okay in Vegas. So I don't understand why they're having this animosity that will pop up in the most unexpected moments. Because who thought that at this business luncheon, Tisha and Kimmy would be going at it? But they were going at it. And then Melody said, well, did you get the check before or after you have the issue? And then Tisha says, I got the check after. As if she had not brought it up, Maurice would not have sent her the check. And so Kimmy said, well, Maurice is always late in giving the money. He's the one responsible with giving you the checks. So he was the one that gave it to you late. That's an issue that you have to take up with him. Okay, if it's all about Maurice giving the money and that's his responsibility and he's always been the one to give the money to her projects, then why are the two of y'all having a problem? And then also my other question is, Tisha should know that if every year Kimmy gives money, why would this year be any different? Why wouldn't they give money? Why wouldn't they help sponsor your event? So there's something going on there that is beyond the event and beyond the check. So they kind of go at it with that. So then what else happened here? This was odd. This was really odd. Tisha decides to pull Destiny to the side. Not Destiny. Tiffany. Tisha decides to pull Tiffany to the side and have a one-on-one with her. Was really odd. They're all sitting at the table. And then all of a sudden, Tisha says to Tiffany, do you want to get some more champagne? So Tiffany's like, okay, yeah, let's go. So they go off to the side, just the two of them. And Tisha starts off with, I don't know much about you. I know that you used to be married and now you're divorced. Now you're married again, but I don't really know much about you. And Tiffany said, well, yes, I was married before. And something about how when her and her husband met, her and Louis met, they both discussed each other's backgrounds. And they both admitted that they cheated on their spouses. And they wanted to know why they cheated on their spouses, I guess for whatever reason. And then Tisha was like, oh, why did you cheat on your spouse? And then Tiffany says something about, well, I cheated on him when we were still in high school. So when Tiffany said she had cheated on her spouse, you could literally see Tisha's ears completely perk up and open. Because she was like, oh, this is about to get real juicy. So she wanted to know more about Tiffany cheating on her spouse, her former spouse. Not Louis, but the man she was married to before. And Tiffany was trying to explain to her the different reasons why people cheat. So she was trying to give her like this broad, general explanation of why people cheat. Some people cheat just for the sex. Some people cheat because they're missing something in their relationship that's got nothing to do with sex. And so Tisha was just like, okay, so you cheat. Okay, tell me about you cheating on your spouse. Okay, why did you cheat on your spouse? Tell me about that. I want to get to that. And so Tiffany said, well, I didn't cheat on him while we were married. I cheated on him before we got married when we were still in high school. So when she said that, Tisha lost interest. She was like, oh, okay. In high school, well, nothing counts in high school. If you were cheating on him before you were married, that don't even count. And so Tiffany wanted to go deeper into the whole explanation of why people cheat, to give this whole, thesis about why people cheat. And then Tisha kept on saying, but you didn't cheat while you were married. Did you cheat when you were married? Did you cheat when you were still with your spouse? Oh, okay. So if you didn't cheat when you were with them, then it don't even count. Nothing matters before you get married. Whatever you did before you get married doesn't even matter. Like, she really was not interested anymore. She was like, let's move on to something else. If you didn't cheat on him while you were married, then I really don't care. And maybe I don't care about this whole conversation. And that was like that. The whole style that Tisha was talking to Tiffany, it was as if she was interviewing her. She was like, well, tell me a little bit more about yourself. What's been going on? It wasn't even like on a friendship level. It was like she was interrogating her or interviewing her or trying to get the scoop on her. Tisha is just weird. Tisha has been so weird this whole season. It didn't make any sense at all. At first, I thought when she decided to pull Tiffany to the side, I thought maybe because she felt like, well, she's losing friends. So she's going to try to be friends with, the only girl that's left, which is Tiffany. But no, she just pulled her over to get some dirt on her. And in her confessional, she says that Tiffany was not being very transparent. Okay, this woman who you barely know, who barely knows you, just admitted to you that she was unfaithful to her partner at some point in their relationship. How more transparent can you be? What more did you want her to say? What details were you looking for, Tisha? That was very strange. Moving on. Maurice and Kimmy. So Maurice has planned this beautiful evening for Kimmy, because of what Dr. Francis said. You know how he was not making his wife a priority, and not giving enough attention to Kimmy, so on and so forth. He decides to set up this beautiful hotel room. He decorated it really nice, had the food laid out really nice. He was also dressed very, very nice. And then she comes over to the hotel room and they sit down and they eat and they talk. And he explains to her, I had a session with Dr. Francis. This is what he told me. So I'm going to try to work on being more present in our marriage and being there for you more, and really making an effort to put aside time for us. I do admit that I've been spending too much time with my work and with business, so I need to change, and I need to make you more of a priority over my business. Okay, fine. So then he he surprises her basically with a trip. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, at the luncheon, Destiny had gifted Kimmy a 7-day trip, a 7-day honeymoon, because it's been 3 years and her and Maurice have not gone out on a honeymoon yet. So at the business event, Destiny's business event, she gifted Kimmy a honeymoon gift. So, a honeymoon package. So, when Maurice presents Kimmy with his own honeymoon trip, she says, well, now I have two. And Maurice was like, what do you mean you have two? This is only one trip. And she says, no, because at the business event that I went to, Destiny gifted me a trip. So now we have two trips. So it ended up working, really well. Now they have two trips to take, spending even more time together. So that was how this episode ended. So this was a really good episode. Every episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville is really, really good to me. These people are so interesting because everything is just so bizarre. And I find everything that they do is just so fascinating and interesting. So, yeah, Tisha's weird. Melody and Martell need to definitely cool it. They need to not film together anymore. They have enough going on in each of their own lives that they don't need to cross paths, not on camera. Maurice and Kimmy, they seem to be doing very, very well. In fact, they get the gold star because out of all the couples, that seems to be, no, it's not even the most healthy. Compared to everybody else, their relationship seems the most healthy. It's not 100% healthy, but it's just the most healthy compared to the other couples. And we didn't get a lot of Lewis and Tiffany, thank God. And yeah, so that's my review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you also like this, go ahead and subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.